give our trucks plenty of space, and avoid travel during severe winter weather if at all possible.
Yeah, keeps it safe for them and safe for those that would have to go try to help them out, right, if something happened. One more question for you. Where can folks go for real-time updates on what's happening on the roads, maybe before they plan to head out?
Yeah, the best place to look at or call is Georgia 511. They give real-time updates throughout the day. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. Obviously, we have the Georgia Department of Transportation page. We also have a local page, Georgia DOT Northeast. We'll have real-time updates, videos, and much more coming to you throughout the weekend.
How's everyone doing? I mean, we mentioned this has been a really busy January so far, and it's, I know, been demanding for all the men and women who are part of GDOT. So how are y'all holding up, Nathan?
Everyone's great. Everyone is ready for the task at hand. We have crews on 12-hour shifts, so we're making sure that they're getting plenty of rest. We have day crews and night crews, so everyone's ready to go. We're thankful for the public for listening to us and our advice to stay off the roadways. It really helps our crews work easily and safely, and we just continue to reiterate that point. Please give our crews space. Please give them the ability to spread material, to plow snow throughout the weekend. It really helps us out, and we can't thank everyone enough, including our own crews, for the hard work that they do.
Well, we want to thank y'all for the work that you're doing and keeping everyone safe. So I know it's been all hands on deck, but it's certainly appreciated by all of us here in Georgia. So Nathan Johnston with GDOT, more specifically District 1, we certainly appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time ahead of all this to check in with us here, Nathan.
Thank you.
All right, our time now is 11:15, and in just a few minutes, we're talking about the World Cup. We know those matches are fast approaching here in Atlanta, and so, there's excitement about that, but there's also trying to balance the safety and fun as well. So we'll get more into that in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. So here in just a few months, the World Cup matches will, of course, make their way to Atlanta, something we're excited about. I mean, it's going to be a showstopper of an event, a lot of excitement surrounding this, but it's the folks that are behind the scenes having to make sure that things run smoothly. We're talking about, managing crowd surges, staffing strain, security concerns, just having an eye on all of that. So joining us this morning, we have Dave Eric, Managing Director of Global Risk Management at Sedgwick, here to talk a little bit more about this. So, Dave, good morning. Thanks for being on with us.
Good morning, Elise. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's talk about this. I mean, what are some of the most overlooked risks that have to be, considered as we're talking about an event as large as the World Cup being here in Atlanta?
Well, it's a great opportunity for Atlanta to shine, no doubt about that. But there are things that can go wrong. And while we hope everything goes very smoothly this year, there are some things that people should plan for. Whether you're a small business owner or retailer, you're going to have large crowds, traffic disruptions. The city's going to have to divert traffic around when the matches occur. So it may not look the same as other big events that you've hosted in the past. You might have supplier and vendor issues and other things that could disrupt how you think things should go, and just being prepared is really the key.
So, I mean, what are maybe some of the lessons that have been learned? I know each huge event is different, but there's lessons that you can take from one to the other. So what are some that those who are involved in all of this should potentially be applying now, Dave, in preparation for all of this happening this summer?
Sure. Well, it looks like there are a lot of great resources available from the city. So the City of Atlanta, Atlanta Invest, there's actually a playbook that's been developed for small business owners. It's got some checklists and things to work through and help you think about what could go wrong, during the course of hosting events during the World Cup. So, things like you mentioned earlier, security, staffing issues, ensuring your suppliers and vendors are ready to supply you with an expanded array of products during the event. So I think there are a lot of things that you can plan for, and you hope that you don't have to use those plans, but making sure your employees are trained and ready to react and adapt is really important.
I can imagine that it's all about striking the right balance, Dave. I mean, you want visitors and fans to have a great experience and to enjoy themselves. You don't want that to be a casualty, right, of making sure that all the safety plans and protocols are in place. So how is it that organizations can balance that, right, so that folks can still have fun but be able to know that it's top notch and that it's safe?
Absolutely. That's a great point. And so I think preparing and ensuring your employees are trained makes everyone work through stress and pressure a lot more smoothly, because they're not thinking on their feet. They're working through something that's been trained into them, and they know what to do when that uncertainty hits them, whether it's a huge unexpected crowd, or you run out of a key product, or you don't get linens in time. So thinking through those things in advance and planning for it can help people stay calm and make your guests feel like they're in a professional setting.
I'm so glad you mentioned the unexpected things that come up aspect of this, because that's the case in all things, but I can imagine especially for an event like the World Cup. So do you have any advice for teams who are, trying to navigate risks and changes and all of the things that come with having crowds like an event like the World Cup, for an event, like the World Cup?
Sure. Well, first is thinking through, certainly Atlanta's hosted big events in the past, but this one's going to be a little different because you're going to have people from all over the world that may have never been to the U.S. before, so they may not understand how things work here or how signage works. So, thinking through your emergency plans, if there's an injury or equipment breaks down, or, there's property damage from, an accident, thinking through how you're going to deal with those situations and put yourself in the shoes of your guests that may not understand how things work here in the U.S.
Any final thoughts for us, Dave? I mean, here we are. We're in the very end of January, and we're expecting early this summer for things to kick off with this. So any last words of advice for those that find themselves in a position of needing to make sure that all their ducks are in a row ahead of this?
Sure. Sure. Well, I would definitely take advantage of the resources that are out there. There are even grants available to help small businesses prepare for and be more resilient during the World Cup. So that's probably the first one. The second one is just look at your suppliers, the inventory, the orders you've got ahead. Think about what you need, and then ramp it up a bit on top of that, so that you make sure that your suppliers and vendors are ready for you when these events occur, that you're not out of product and unable to serve your clients. Think about security, emergency preparedness, and work through those situations with your employees so that they're comfortable and they know what to do if something does happen. But we're all hoping for the best, and the best plan is one that you don't have to use.
There you go. I'm so glad that you were on to talk about this, because it's just as important, if not more important, than all of the excitement, right, and the festivities surrounding the World Cup. Got to make sure things are running smoothly on the back end and safely, of course. So Dave Eric with Sedgwick, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Our time is 11:24, and coming up, we're going to talk more about what's expected weather-wise this weekend. In fact, just learning Governor Kemp has declared a state of emergency ahead of the winter storm. So we're going to hear a little bit more from GDOT and check back in with our meteorologist, Jonathan Stacy, next. Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for being with us here on this Friday TGIF. All right, we got to talk about the weather this weekend and what GDOT is doing about this. But first, want to let you know about this. Governor Kemp has now declared a state of emergency ahead of this winter storm that's expected to hit North Georgia and the Atlanta metro, of course. So if you're wondering how safe the roads will be this weekend, well, the Georgia Department of Transportation is speaking about it. So let's listen.
Natalie, third week in a row, you all are preparing for winter weather.
I didn't even notice.
So it's the third week in a row. You guys have a lot of conditions, a lot of snow this time. What are you all doing to prepare?
I think it's important that we talk about how every storm is different. So we can't take what we did earlier this week or late last week and apply it to this storm. We can't even take what we did 2 weeks ago and apply it, or last year. Every storm is different. So we have to plan according to what this storm is going to bring. And we talk about how we're always planning for worst case scenario. We can't say, well, Metro might only get a dusting. We have to look at the information that the meteorologists are giving us, our counterparts over at National Weather Service, what they're saying, and say, if this is at the most impactful for every county that it's expected to touch, what will that require of us? And that is what we do. So we've been brining throughout the night on all potentially impacted areas. But look at the footprint of this. I mean, we are talking the northwest corner of the state, all the way across to the northeast, all the way down to the southeast, and most of central and all of metro in that map. That is a lot of lane miles. That is a lot of employees spread throughout the state. Now, normally we can sort of move crews where they need to be and sort of have like a bulk of crews in one area. Everyone is working statewide, with the exception of that southwest corner, everyone is somewhere working. So that means all of our equipment, all of our crews, all of our materials are going to be put to the test again. We saw last week how successful we could be if people stay off the roads. So at the peak of the storm last week, we had an 80% reduction in volume on our roads, and we were able to get to work and keep to work on those roads because we didn't see crashes, traffic buildups, things like that. So people really heeded that warning, and I think a lot of that is because of ice scares people. Snow does not scare people, and so there is and then in addition to it being snow and people thinking that that's easier to navigate, we're also dealing with just the fatigue that people have of being asked to stay inside. So we're, in addition to what the weather's going to bring us, we're sort of battling the human aspect of, is this going to be bad? Y'all, people say it's going to be, but I don't know. I'm ready to get out. And so we really will be most successful in this scenario because we have so much work to do if people stay off the roads.
Let's talk about the equipment. How many snowplows do you all plan on having this weekend?
Where did Jeff go? Well, it was easy to say this. All of our crews are fully activated. So we have hundreds of snow removal equipment, whether that is a dump truck that has a plow on it, whether that's one of our F-150s that's retrofitted with that blade on the front. All areas with all of their plow materials will be plowing. In addition to all of our brine tankers, all of our brine routes are being run. So again, 2 million gallons of brine we have to spread and hundreds of snow removal equipment. So we have to be agile with our equipment when it comes to plowing because we can't depend just on what a northern state would call a snow plow. We have to get creative. We've done that for years, which is put a blade on front of an F-150. You've got a snow plow that can really quickly and very nimbly get into areas. So we've got all plows available statewide working.
Yeah.
Do you have a number on that?
Do you have a number on the number of snow plows?
Any plow. Are all blades? Yeah. 780? Yeah.
So all of them are going to be working the 780?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have roughly 780 what we would call snow removal equipment. So not just big plows, not just your 2-lane but we're talking about how we maximize the efficiency of our equipment. Put a blade on front of an F-150, you've got a plow. So we've got a lot of equipment working in the state in addition to those brine tankers.
And I assume those brine tankers are going to be working interstates, arteries, and then collectors, that sort of thing.
Right.
All the way down.
So what will be different about, are they filling? There's a tanker. Do you need to get that? Okay, get that. I know you. Jim needs to get that. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Okay. What's different with this plan, because this is going to be plowable snow, plowing takes longer than brining for a couple of reasons. So you have to go slower, you have to clear it off the road, but also if we're plowing in the middle of a storm, a lane that we've plowed, we have to come back and re-plow it because the precipitation's still falling. So unlike brine where you spray it and it's there, if the precipitation is still falling, we have to plow maybe the same stretch of a route multiple times. So that takes a lot of time. We're talking 12 hours to plow one route that we may have to come right back around and do it right again. So because of that and because of the size, the footprint of this storm, we are planning right now, our plan is to focus on plowing the 2 outside lanes of an interstate and the ramps. So we'll focus our efforts on making sure we have those 2 passable lanes and the ramps, and then on a state route that has lanes in each direction, we'll get 1 lane in each direction going. So people shouldn't expect what we saw where we were able to brine a whole interstate and keep it clear. Because of the amount of precipitation that is expected with this, there's going to be a lot of plowing involved, a lot of lane miles to work, almost double what we did last week. So we're focusing the efforts on really clearing those 2 outside lanes.
And Natalie, because of all this, all the resources, all the brine, how's the brine supply doing as far as GDOT is concerned?
We are up to, we have our brine that we're making. You see us out there making it right now, keeping these tankers full. We have the rock and the salt we need, and again, we have the equipment we need. So we are stocked for this event, so we're ready to go.
You're stocked for this event. Do you guys need to restock after this event, or what?
We are always making brine, and so we sort of look to our brine bar, to our salt barns at the end of the event to see where they're at. And then, a lot of states in the South have been hit hard by this. So materials could be hard to come by in the future, but we have been prepared and stocked up since the beginning of this system. So we're good to go.
You're good to go. So there's no concerns about that, of that sort. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as your preps? I know these guys and gals have been working so long. Talk about the fatigue you're going through as well.
What? Mobile unit? Are we pulling it out now? Okay. We have new materials we're always sort of putting to use, new equipment. We have a mobile brine unit that rather than just making brine at our brine warehouses, we have dispatched that unit that can, just like it sounds like, mobile brine unit. We can have that dispatched to different locations to make brine where we need it. But you talk about fatigue. Yes, people are tired of staying home. This is, for some areas of the state, the 3rd weekend in a row that these crews have worked winter weather shifts, which are late, cold nights, round the clock for our crews. The best thing that we can all do is stay home to allow these crews time and space. We prioritize the health and safety of our crews, but they know the job that we all do at GDOT. They're passionate about the job to clear the roads, to make Georgia roads safe for people. So, I can't say enough about the staff and the crews at GDOT. They get up every morning to make the day better for other people, and so they're away from their families during these. Sometimes 3 weeks in a row away from their families. So the best thing you can do to say thank you is to stay off the roads so they can continue to work to make the roads clear.
If people see any issues, if they have to drive, and they see any issues that may need GDOT's attention, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way to report any issues is 511. But again, our crews we've got scout crews, we've got plow crews, we've got brine crews. They're out there to find those spots. We don't want you to find that patch of ice before our crew finds it to treat it. So the best way to not find that patch of ice is to stay off the roads. Again, it sounds like a broken record, but it is the easiest solution. I'm not going to give a viewer a crash course on how to drive on ice and snow. It's not going to end well. The best way to keep everyone safe is for everyone to stay at home again. And next weekend, maybe we won't have to do this.
That sounds good.
It'd be nice. I don't think we want to do this next weekend. Natalie Dell with GDOT just weighing in on how prepared they are. And you know what? So are our meteorologists. They are tracking this every step of the way. So let's check back in with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. I cannot believe this has been the wildest January, news-wise and winter weather-wise, Jonathan.
And it seems like it just won't come to an end. But here's the deal. This is the final day when this occurs, the final day of January, and hopefully February can kick off a new regime weather-wise, at least here in North Georgia. But what is coming over the next 24 hours is snowfall. It's an all-snow event, no ice, freezing rain, or anything of a wintry mixed variety, but it's a straight snow because the atmosphere is going to be so cold and chilled out. Along and near the I-75 corridor to the north and to the west of the city, that's where we're expecting the lesser of the amounts, a dusting up to 2 inches. That includes Dalton, Rome, Carrollton, LaGrange, and even South Fulton. As you move further to the east, that's when you start to get that appreciable snowfall amount coverage. We're looking at 1 to 3 inches as you cross over just to the east of I-75. That's in order for Fannin, Gilmer County, going down through Lumpkin, Dawson counties. As you get into Forsyth, certainly Gwinnett, maybe eastern DeKalb is now in conversation, along with Rockdale, Newton counties. I would even bring Henry and Butts County into the mix there, areas that could easily get 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. As you get closer into the fall line here, the mountains going up to the north of I-85, that's where we're expecting to get those amounts. So will exceed 3 inches, possibly going up as high as 5 inches as you get into the northeastern corner of the state. It will be our counties that border North and South Carolina that we'll be watching for the highest amounts that could exceed 5 inches. I'm being a bit cautious as I say that. However, that's where we're expecting the most ample snowfall amount. So here's the timeline of how all this starts. Tonight, there could be some flurries flying. I don't think there will be steady snow at all. However, the coverage will continue to intensify and widen out across the area as we go through your Saturday. But as for tonight, the winds will kick up. The roads could deteriorate fairly quickly, especially in some of our mountainous communities. Then tomorrow morning, it's all about the snow. It will be a light, fluffy, dry snow that blankets the area, especially to the east of the Atlanta metro area. Gusty winds will take center stage as the moisture moves through, and then as a result of those gusty winds and falling snow, it's going to blow the snow around. So visibility will be reduced. The road's going to be a bit tricky, not the best combination for being out and about. Now, while the snow will end by sunset tomorrow, that's Saturday evening, by Sunday the winds are still going, and overnight wind chills will drop down to 0 in some locations, below 0, especially to the north of the metro area. We'll drop down to a temperature of about 14 degrees. That's the actual air temperature, and that's when that extreme cold watch will be firmly in place as we deal with some frigid temperatures for up to 48 to 60 hours below freezing across points and parts of North Georgia. Let's look at some of the modeling here. I don't want to be biased in showing you just what we've come up with here in the Fox 5 Storm Center. This is what we're looking at in terms of our in-house graph model. Once again, those higher totals from Gainesville to Cornelia, Athens, Covington, Eaton, all within that 4 to 5 inch category. Blairsville, an outlier there, almost 7 inches. But as you get into the Atlanta metro area, this model is suggesting about 3.5 inches with lesser amounts as you pull further to the west, less than an inch between Carrollton and Rome. Okay, that's one model. It looks pretty fulfilling for those of you who are really wanting snow in the metro area. Let's add this one to the mix. This is the European model here. And it suggested we could get about a little over 2 inches from Canton to Atlanta, but as you get right outside of the metro area, it's a pretty sharp cutoff between who gets ample snowfall and who just gets a dusting to a coating. But once more, as you get into the North Carolina, South Carolina state line region of Georgia, that's where you get those totals that could easily exceed 4.5, going up beyond 5 inches. Now, this model here is not as aggressive. Now, and I want to point out, this could be a real possibility. I know that there is a winter storm warning now in effect for Fulton County and for a couple counties further out to the west. Cobb County joining in the mix along with Bartow County. If this ends up being a scenario, I think this could actually, mean that we get a dusting here in Atlanta and lesser snowfall amounts as you look up to the north and to the east. And one more model here before I send it back. It's once again more conservative as well. Nonetheless, it's pushing out about an inch here in the Atlanta metro area. So if we have 4 models at least, out of those 4 models, just one of them is saying that we're going to get less than an inch of snowfall.
Interesting.
So,
all right.
So we got a lot to kind of watch and wait for here. But I think this is going to be the winter wonderland that people have been wanting.
Okay, there you have it. All right, just got a little excited. Jonathan, thank you so much for that. We appreciate you. Okay, so you just heard what he's talking about. I mean, this is straight off of what we experienced last weekend here in Georgia as well. So you may be dealing with a little bit of damage from that winter storm. You might have lost power, and for some, it may happen again this weekend. So here to talk a little bit more about this with us is Andrew Feemuth, the Senior Manager of Communications at USAA. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for being patient with us. We tried to do this yesterday. You're a trooper, and we got you on today. So it's good to finally have you on, Andrew.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Obviously, we just saw the forecast. We know it's going to be chilly.
Yep.
And we're kind of hitting that 1-2 punch, Elise. So really just want to share some simple tips. There are some things that we can all do to prepare for this nasty weather. And from an insurance industry, what I'll tell you, Elise, we unfortunately see the worst of it. And so every year across the industry, winter weather causes millions of claims and billions in damage. The good news, the majority of that is preventable just with some simple home prep. And so really just want to dig in. What are the things that folks can do today to hopefully prepare for the storm and avoid a headache tomorrow?
Very nice. Okay, so you've got me on with you, Andrew. You also have meteorologist Jonathan Stacy, who's taken a seat to be a part of this with you as well. So let's start with this. I mean, you mentioned the need to make some temporary repairs if need be. I mean, we saw so many folks impacted, whether it was maybe a tree that fell down, which is also a big threat here, right, Jonathan?
The canopy is large.
Yes, that's right. So what are some of the temporary repairs that you think are most important for folks to make, Andrew?
Yeah, and so first and foremost, if you have damage and when it's safe to do so, we really ask that you start that claims process as quickly as possible. And that first part is just documenting it, taking the pictures, making those temporary repairs as you mentioned. And the reason why this is important is because you want to hopefully avoid additional damage. And so what that would look like is possibly boarding up a window, a roof, so that as this next round of precipitation comes in, you don't end up having a second round, a second claim, and a second deductible. So temporary repairs are important, but the key word there is temporary. You want to hold off on any permanent repairs until your insurance company is involved. So that's number one. Number two is just filing the claim. And so we always tell our members, we want to get you back on your feet as quickly as possible, and you have to file the claim so that we can get involved. And the easiest way to do that is always going to be on your insurance company's mobile app. So pull out the app, file the claim, and from a USA perspective, you can not only file the claim, but submit the pictures, schedule an inspection. If you made temporary repairs, submit those receipts. And then at that point, you are hopefully at the front of the line as these contractors start getting booked up 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks out. Those are the two key steps to take if you saw damage last week. And then there's some things that we should be doing today ahead of this next round of weather.
Yeah, and speaking of those preparations, for folks who are going to shelter in place at first and stay off the roads, but there's a chance that you could eventually have to make a move and get in your car and go somewhere, even if that's just to seek better shelter. That said, what do you advise people do to prepare their vehicles?
For sure. And so from a vehicle perspective, we heard the state officials, they're really trying to caution folks to stay off the roads. But if you do go on the roads, again, the name of the game is preparation. So we recommend that you get a simple emergency bag available. Throw in a blanket, an extra jacket, put some water, some snacks, jumper cables, flashlight. The last thing that you want is to be stuck on the side of the roads waiting for authorities or a tow truck, which can take some time during these storms. And you want to be able to have some resources available for you. That's number one. Now, number two is if you do have any precipitation on your vehicle, you have to take the time to get it off before you actually get the car going. And so get the snow, get the windshield wipers, make sure that you have full visibility around your vehicle. Now at that point, once it is time to get on the roads, the name of the game here is just slow and steady. And so kind of the fun way that we tell our members is if you're driving in winter weather, just pretend like you have a full glass of water on your dashboard and you're trying not to spill it. So no sudden accelerations, no sudden braking, smooth motions. And what I would recommend that you do is pull up the map on your phone and get that route down so you can see how do I avoid any overpasses, any bridges. Those are always the first to freeze and the last to thaw. You want to avoid those if you're going to be heading out on the road.
Okay, before we let you go, Andrew, speaking of post-storm aftermath, for many folks that includes preparing for an adjuster. So what are some quick things that we can do ahead of the adjuster's visit?
Honestly, it's just about having documentation ready and available. And so having the photos of what the damage looked like before the temporary repairs, and then having the receipts of those temporary repairs so that you can get a reimbursement for that. But at the end of the day, we don't want you to stress too much. This is why we have insurance. Allow your insurance company to come in and to assist. What I will say is you have the choice to choose which contractor you go with to make the repairs, but please be careful. Unfortunately, there are some fraudulent contractors out there. And when we see these storms roll in, unfortunately, some of these bad actors roll in as well. So things to keep an eye out. If a contractor comes in and they are asking for you to make payment before they do the work, red flag. Likewise, if they're giving you an estimate that is really high or really low, red flag. And so the general rule of thumb is if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And this goes not only for winter storms, but we'll be talking spring hail and hurricanes and summer and in no time. So this is a general rule of thumb around the entire year. And who you can rely on is the Better Business Bureau. Pick up the phone, call your insurance company and just say, hey, I want to work with this contractor. Are they reputable? I want to get back on my feet as quickly as possible.
Well, hey, what you're talking about goes hand in hand with what you're talking about.
A lot of good advice there, too.
Yeah.
And also it may be a good idea, Andrew, is to take pictures now before even impacts could occur so you have some comparison of what your valuables and your property looks like indeed.
Yeah, certainly so. things that we can do
Absolutely.
right now. Yeah, for sure. Andrew Femus, Senior Manager of Communications at USAA. Andrew, thank you so much. We appreciate your expertise in this. We appreciate it. Be safe. Okay, have you seen this, Jonathan? This is wild. So, I mean, I know what we're expecting here, but what they've gotten in Japan is wild.
Yikes.
Isn't that crazy? Okay, so
Oh my
parts of
gosh.
northern Japan, they saw a whopping amount of snowfall. So it's the most that they've gotten in 80 years. 80
Get
years.
out of here.
Yes, so to the
Where is
tune
this?
of, it's like 65 inches that came down. 65 inches. Can you
Oh
imagine?
my goodness.
Isn't that wild?
65 inches of
Yes.
snow.
So I don't know my geography of
Yeah.
Japan, but if you do, this is the streets of Aomori. This is today. I mean, look at them. Look at the heaps of snow as they're trying to get that out of there. I mean, there's no way they're
Wow,
used to,
that-
if it's been 80 years, there's no way they're used
Oh,
to
yeah.
dealing with this.
There are people who have never seen this and likely will never see this again.
Right.
That's historic.
Yes, so snow advisories went out, warning of potential damage, traffic disruptions, which cars were still moving there, but I mean, you had to be brave to get out in this. And it's only expected to intensify, Jonathan.
Like, you didn't even know that the car was
country.
there.
You didn't
until-
even know. So,
I honestly hope this is us tomorrow.
do you really?
I do, because I think we just need a really good winter wallop.
Yeah.
I think we need one.
Okay.
And last week,
I'm
like,
seeing
it
heads
was a
being
serious
shaken. No, Matt and Gwen don't
it was
agree
a
with you on
serious-
that.
It was
They're
a
not
serious
fan.
snowstorm last week, or ice storm, I should
Yeah.
say. This week, let's have some fun with it.
I mean, maybe not like this, but I'm on board
Let's
with
go
that.
all the way.
Yeah, let's do. I just got some new
Let's hope
sleds, so
high,
let's
and
do it.
whatever falls below that, we'll be satisfied with.
I like that. There we go. Jonathan, thank you so much. We
Indeed.
appreciate you as always, and we will be right back. Welcome back. I want to share this with you. Georgia's only dedicated glass shop, it's called ATL Glassworks, is facing a really critical moment in their business. They're being forced to relocate due to some redevelopment. So we have our Eli Jordan, who's out there just to tell us what's going on and just more about this really awesome place, Eli.
Hey, good morning, Elise. Yeah, it's a growing business, ATL Glassworks. I mean, they have grown and grown, and they've got classes going on, and they're wanting to relocate because they're growing. But they got a place, and they can't get in there yet, but they got to get out of this place before it gets torn down because it's set to be raised soon. And I am here with ATL Glassworks owner, Dave Kennedy. Oh, I got to hit the Zoom button. That happens from time to time. Dave, thank you for hanging out with us today. So tell me about your shop real quick. What do you guys do here?
So we are a stained glass retail store. We sell glass and supplies to stained glass artists, and then we teach classes as well.
And you teach classes. How long you guys have been around, and how much has this your business grown?
We opened in 2021, and we have more than doubled since we opened. We do the classes, so we're creating more customers to come and buy the glass. It's fun. People need a hobby.
And you guys have been around since 2023?
2021.
2021, okay.
We've been here since 2023.
And so, and it has just grown ever since, right?
It has, yeah.
And it's been exciting to have your first business and your only business you've had.
Oh, it's amazing. Glass is my life, so I'm just happy to share it with people.
So tell me, why do you need to get out of this place? You're not only growing, but...
This whole complex sold, and they're going to be tearing it down. So as
here at the Met in the West End.
Yes. So as our people's leases expire, they are kicking us out to find new spots. So
you found a new spot.
I did in Hapeville. I love it. It's huge. We've got room to grow and expand, but I'm having issues with moving into it.
What kind of issues are you having? You're trying to get your occupancy certificate, right?
Yes, there's been some delays caused by the owner not doing things in a timely manner, and so I'm not able to get my business license until those are done.
So that means you're paying rent here and there.
Yeah, and I'm also not making the sales money that we need to be because I haven't ordered the supplies because I thought I would be out of here by the end of December.
So you haven't restocked because you're expecting to move.
Yep.
But here you are pushing 2 months late on moving.
Yep.
And then also too, you've had classes which you scheduled, but you got classes for February at your new spot, but you're not there yet.
Exactly.
And so you're holding off on scheduling more classes, wondering.
I don't know where I'll be, if I'll be anywhere. So I'm scared I can't plan anything because everything's kind of just up in the air.
And your moving budget, how's that looking?
It's gone.
Oh my.
And we haven't moved yet.
How scary is this situation for you guys?
Terrifying, but I'm trying to be optimistic. My employee Ashlyn, who teaches classes here, she started a GoFundMe to help raise funds to kind of relieve some of the stress, and the community support has been incredible.
And the GoFundMe is, if you look up ATL Glassworks, you can find the GoFundMe there, and if anybody wants to contribute to help out to sustain your business while you move. But this seems like it could be a crippling, you got support from the community, you're growing and everything, they don't want to see you go, but this is a huge obstacle for you guys. It
definitely is. It's scary, but again, I'm trying to be positive.
And so atlglassworks.com is your ATL Glasswork is your Instagram handle.
Yes.
atlglassworks.com and ATL Glasswork Instagram. Is that how people can keep up with what your situation is and where you guys are? Because you still don't know when you're going to move, do you?
No, I'm hoping it's soon, but if you follow us on Instagram, I give pretty regular updates there. And then if you go to our website, you can sign up for our newsletter, and I send an email out whenever we have updates. And hopefully we'll have we're actually moving update soon.
And just tell me, are people still supporting you guys? I mean, I know it's tough you not be able to, get some of the things, but
Absolutely. People are still coming in. We're still open. We have limited supply, but we are still open if people need to get glass and supplies. People have been buying gift cards, which is helpful as well, cool. And then supporting our GoFundMe and supporting us on social media so that whenever we are open, we can start filling up those classes.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Dave Kennedy here at ATL Glassworks, where they're in a predicament. If you want to help out, go to the GoFundMe, ATL Glassworks, and you can go there, or atlglassworks.com to see where they're going to be next month. It's still a mystery. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that, Eli. Hopefully they're able to come to some kind of quick resolution with that. So we appreciate their story with us today. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Remember, the governor has issued a state of emergency for tomorrow's weather, so be sure to stick around at noon for the very latest on what's expected. Have a great Friday.